Black Girl Magic. And Marty McDonald, I'm founder of Boss Woman Media. I really think you should create a gummy called Black Girl Magic. And so I go on to tell her, hey, I just saw this Nielsen data report that said Black Girl Magic is real. And it talked about the buying power and behavior of black women. And by 2021, black women will be the highest spending consumer out of any ethnicity with a spending dollar of $1.5 trillion. Woo! There's so much power in this room. We spend our dollars on so many things. But it's time for brands to start showing up and talking to us in the campaigns that we're spending dollars after. Know that you have the power to tell your story. Know that you have the power to make impact. Whether you're sitting in corporate America or you're side hustling, we're going to give you information and tools that you can incorporate to then go tell the narrative and the story of who you are, who you represent, and who you want to connect with. I want to bring out one of my favorite content creators, influencers, my soror, Jade Kendall, to the stage. I'm so happy to be in Dallas. Can I just say I'm so happy to be in Dallas? Y'all don't even understand. I live in Oregon now. It's so good to be home. So I'm so, yes, happy. We're going to start by chatting a little bit about establishing brands that stick. And so all of these women are a brand. And so how many of you guys, by show of hands, is in the process of establishing a brand or have a brand in process? Yeah. So when we did the connection cards, that was that opportunity for you guys to connect, because that's how we build and grow together. We build and grow by us knowing each other's brands that we're creating, so then we then support those brands. And you know, our dollars stay within our community. So a little bit about, share who you guys are and the brands that you guys have, and we'll pass the mic down.
Yes, so my name is Sopa Rush, and my handle is Sopa Rush. And I created a brand called Live Deeply Rooted. And so I wanted just a safe place for women to come together who love the Lord, and just be able to be vulnerable with one another, be able to share their story, and just grow closer to God. And so that was the brand that I created. It didn't start off that way. I created social media to stalk my husband before we were together. So I didn't know it was going to turn into something bigger, but I'm glad that it did. So that's what my brand is. I share motherhood as well. So I talk about motherhood. I talk about my brand, and then also, yeah, Jesus.
Yes. Hey y'all. Hey. I'm Jade Kendall, also known as Lipstick and Curls. I am so excited to be here. As I said just previously, it's just a blessing to see all of you here. It's early and y'all are slayed, so like, I know it was a lot to come out, but we appreciate you. Lipstick and Curls really came from, this is gonna be the shorthand version. Lipstick and Curls really started as just me in college wanting to share my experience trying to figure out how to style my hair, my natural hair. This was back in like, I started thinking about it in 2009, but really started posting in like 2010 on YouTube, and kind of did it as a hobby here and there through college. And when I had a leap year between grad school and I didn't know what I was going to do with myself, I was like, okay, I'm working retail with a degree. I feel bad about myself. I need something to help me feel like I am still that chick. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to put my energy towards lipstick and curls. And so that's when I really started like reaching out to brands and being like, hey, do you want to, you know, send me some products to review online? And at this point, this is like 2013, and I had gotten some stuff gifted to me, but like this was like very early on. So it wasn't like the PR stuff that you see now, or, you know, brand partnerships and things like that that happen now. It was not like that back then. And so I literally was like cold emailing brands like, hey, you know, I'll do a video if you for this much money if you send me these products. And literally the way that I would price my video or whatever would be like $100 per bottle of a product. Like that's how much I didn't know about pitching and whatnot. But so that kind of grew over time. I ended up getting like a manager and things, and kind of just grew from there. Started doing events, and then really doing a tour called Curls Over Brunch in 2014, I think. that really was a catalyst to my platform really becoming what it is today. Because prior to that, I was doing just YouTube videos and posting online, but it wasn't specific and it wasn't strategized. I didn't see it as like a thing. I saw it as like, oh, this is like my side thing that I do. Never really paid attention to like the numbers or anything, but like it just organically grew, and that's what helped me realize that, okay, this is actually something. So fast forward, I graduated from grad school, and I was like, oh wow, I need to decide what I'm gonna do. Am I gonna like jump off this? And I'll get more into this later, obviously through our conversation, but when I went full time, that's when I had to decide like, what is the Lipstick and Curls brand? What is it gonna be? So from there, that's kind of like everything took off in a nutshell. And then I also have a new venture I'm so excited about, a new brand that I've created. It's a company called Life is Content, and I'm teaching people how to create content, how to build personal brands and platforms online in a way that is not about clickbait, that's not about focusing on views or numbers or anything. It's about understanding who you are and using the power of your story and your experiences to really captivate an audience and build a tribe, like for real. Like Boss Women Media, like y'all, like this is a tribe, and you don't just do this by posting pretty pictures. You know what I mean? So that's what Life is Content is about in a nutshell. So those are my two brands, Lipstick and Curls and Life is Content.
Good morning, everybody. Like you said, it is early. But that's fine, I'm here. I really shouldn't complain because I get up for surgery like at 6 in the morning.
You're
right. But now I'm complaining. But I am Dr. Jade, Dr. Jessica, Dr. Shepherd, however you feel and wish to call me. But I love Marty. I love her vision in inspiring a group of women to be better, empower themselves. My brand is really focused on a lot of what I do, which is I talk about vaginas all day. but it's really focused around women's health. And I think that, one, we already know that women's health in general is always put on the back burner, but black women in particular, we don't have representation for one. We were talking in the back, and in the medical community, 2% of the medical community is black women. 2. Wow. So if you think of all the doctors in America, 2% of those will be black women. So we need representation. And so I find that my brand has built, not just from the office when I'm sitting in the room with my patients or in the operating room, it's outside of that. It's how do I allow women to feel, one, comfortable with discussing some of their health issues, because again, anything below the belt is taboo and no one wants to talk about it, and then we all suffer in silence. So how does that make sense? So I want to be able to bring that content to the table, allow us to discuss it, feel comfortable, but also then from that, empower ourselves to do better. Because we have to do better for ourselves when it comes to our health, because health is longevity. And so, but it's also quality of life. Like when you think about, I want to be able to have a family or live long or have a great career, all of that, actually, the foundation of that is your health. And you can't do anything without that. So my message is to empower women in their health, but also to create the content in which we can discuss these issues that pertain to us as a group and feel comfortable about it. And also, now I'm also going, like a new venture, is fitness and wellness. So that too is all, together. And I find that empowering women to be fit, and not necessarily, you don't have to be a bodybuilder or a marathon runner, but actually taking the time to invest in our health, like you said, we're consumers, right? So we should be consuming for things that invest in our health. So you'll hear more about my...
So one of you guys, a couple of you guys, just share, how did you determine it was time for you to create the brands that, some of you touched on it a little bit, but how did you determine, okay, this is it, it's time for me to create this brand and just jump?
For me, I knew that it was time to take the jump when I received a specific opportunity. So, like I mentioned earlier, I was doing Lipstick and Curls for a few years. By 2015, December, I had in my brain, December 30th, December 31st, 2015, Lipstick and Curls is done. Because I was going into my last semester of grad school, and I was like, I need to prepare myself to get a real job. Like, I need to be interning, I need to be doing mock interviews, going to conferences, and I couldn't see myself being able to handle all of those things while still creating content at the level that I was trying to on the side. So I was like, okay, it's done. So literally mid-January of 2016, I had gotten an opportunity to do a couple things that I loved previously. Like, I went to grad school for higher ed, and at a time, I was so incredibly passionate about working in higher ed, right? And so I'm going into my last semester, and I was doing things that if you asked me to do them 2 years before, I would have been over the moon. But I was literally physically doing the things, and I was like, this is not my life. I'm not supposed to be here. What the hell? Like, I'm about to have a degree, and this is not, I feel it in my soul. So at that point, I was like, okay, I'm like depressed. And then I kid you not, it's okay, so mid-January, 2 weeks after that, so like maybe beginning of February, I get an email from Colgate, and they're like, we want to do a commercial with you, and we also want you to blog for us for a year. And I was like, I have a website, but I'm not a blogger. I'm not a blogger. And what do you mean? An international commercial? Like, where not only am I in the commercial, but I'm the lead in the commercial, and it says my name on the commercial. Like, it says Jade Kendall. And so I was like, okay, God, are you telling me to like take a leap of faith with this lipstick and curls thing? Because clearly that's like doing something more.
So for Jade specifically, how did you get people talking about your brand?
Well, I think I will say this, it's industry specific. So like, obviously I work in beauty, and then it's also specifically natural hair, curly hair. So I was doing tutorials. That's like what I'm known for. And I think this is a day and age where everyone's really embracing their natural texture, whether you have kinkier hair than me, or you have shorter hair or longer hair, whatever. Everyone's trying to learn, because we're not going to the salon every week anymore. Like, that's just not, honestly, it's not feasible for a lot of people anymore. So I think that's where I was able to find my niche, was the fact that I'm an educator at heart. So I took my love for education and my passion for beauty and just meshed the two, not even really realizing that I was meshing them in the beginning, because I was like, oh, tutorials. I never thought of tutorials as education, but I was doing it like educating. So people love my tutorials because they're detailed. I'm giving you all the answers. I'm giving you tips and tricks and things like that. And so I'm always trying to be super helpful. So I think that, and just being organic and being authentic, especially at this point, like, everybody wants to be an influencer. Everybody wants to be a content creator and things like that. And I don't even like the word influencer, because it really stigmatizes everybody. I'm not just out here taking pretty pictures and getting brand sponsorships and like taking every check, and I feel like a lot of influencers do. Like, that's very rampant. Like, they're doing beauty, and then they're randomly promoting this random, it's just like all over the place, and then they're like, what do you do? I'm a lifestyle brand. You can be specific, right? Because you know exactly, but you can't just say lifestyle brand and do a bunch of stuff, because everything is not for everybody. So that's what I really realized early on. So whenever I do things, it's very specific, and so people know what they're getting when they come up to my page. And that's what I think always keeps my audience coming back. Like, my day ones from like 6-7 years ago still follow, because I ain't changed. Right. My numbers have changed, you know, but like, I haven't changed as a person. And then I get to have experiences like this where I'm having face-to-face time with y'all. And I think that's what a lot of influencers don't do. A lot of people can't talk like in real life. And I know I talk a lot, but it's because I'm passionate and I'm unafraid to be myself. So that's kind of how I think my brand has been able to live and exist and be as what it is.